Hi, I'm Miranda, and you're watching Hot Rod Madness.
Welcome to Hot Rod Madness, where we believe that every car has a story. Whether your car is a ground-pounding, tire-smoking street machine or a trophy-winning classic with blinding chrome and paint, Hot Rod Madness wants to hear your story. Who knows? Maybe your story will inspire future generations to dream, build, and own their own classic rides. Here to bring you those stories is the host of Hot Rod Madness, Tim the Milkman, along with the Hot Rod Madness crew.
Mike, how are you, man?
Doing good.
All right.
Doing good.
Look what Mike brought us to look at. A 61 Chevrolet pickup truck.
Apache.
Man, these trucks are phenomenal, dude. Nothing beats these old Chevy pickups.
No, sir.
I mean, you can beat them to death, rebuild them to death, whatever you want to do to them, man. It's an honor to meet you, sir, because you kept this one alive. You've restored it perfectly. I'm looking at this thing, man, going, wow.
Thank you.
That is super clean, buddy.
That's what we tried to do. The owner brought it in and did have the inline 6 with the 3-speed on the column, and he wanted to get rid of that for a little more power, so we put in the 350 with the 700 R4, and basically just did a mostly original restoration, minor modifications. We cleaned up some of the wiring harness under the hood to where you can't see it. It was rerouted differently.
Yeah.
We relocated the fuel tank for more legroom in the cabin. But other than that, we put on front disc brakes, and other than that, it's stock rebuild suspension. The frame has been taken off the frame and sandblasted. Every nut and bolt has been done.
Wow, that is
And
sweet.
we added on air conditioning, of course, for down here.
That is super sweet, buddy. The thing's so perfectly clean. I hope the camera's doing it some justice, man, because if you've ever worked on one and tried to restore one, you will appreciate this one.
Absolutely.
As long, that's cool.
And we finished about 2 months ago, so this is only a second or third show to come to. So it hadn't been out too much for people to see.
All right, fresh
But it
build.
will be.
Yeah, okay.
But it'll be out more.
Oh, I'm sure you will have it out a lot more, man. Let's step a little closer.
Sure.
Check it out.
We added on power steering, power brakes, went to alternator instead of generator, and just basically just doing what you need to do to if you want to drive it every day and not worry about it, and just make it more of a modernized driver.
What kind of radiator is that?
I believe it's either a Be Cool or Griffin. We do both of those a lot. I forget which one that one is, but we added on a big electric fan so you can sit in traffic and not worry about it while you're on the AC. You don't boil over.
Yep, that's a big plus, man.
So
that is.
it's just overall it's just a pretty original build with just some minor modifications just to make it more of a fun driver. The interior's off stock. We did everything under here stock except for rerouting the wiring harness and the heater hoses, but kept the inner fenders black, and on the side of the hood, this body color, but it's satin instead of gloss.
Yeah.
And we cleaned up the firewall a little bit, welded up a bunch of the hose where the wires went through, and just made one bundle go up on top of the firewall, just to clean up a little bit and get rid of all the hose and brackets and
He
everything.
cleaned it up a lot, man.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm looking at my 66 and then comparing it to this one, I'm going, man, I got some work
Well,
to do.
it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we did
I'm going to have to skip a few weekends doing car shows so I can work on mine or bring it to you.
Well, we're always open for that.
Hey, how about
so that's what we do for a living.
All right, in order to hide your wiring harnesses for your headlights and things of that nature, they go under the fender wheels down both sides.
That's what we normally do. You got to extend them for the extra routing, but it's worth it if you want the clean look. And we route it through the through wire looms up into the fender well, so you don't get hung up on the tires or the suspension or anything. And it's just, it runs all the way down the frame to the back of the taillights, and it's just makes it for a much cleaner look if you want a cleaner look. Some of the people that we restore a car for, they want the 100% original look,
Yeah.
just the way it came. So there'd be the big AC box in the firewall,
Right.
wire harnesses wrapped in black tape, just inside the original wire loom brackets. And we're good with doing that. It's just whatever the owner wants.
Cool. All right. So you've done this before, haven't you?
I'm going on 14 years.
14
at the
years
shop.
of restoration stuff.
Yes, sir.
Nothing's cooler than the body style either, man, because the 61, check these out.
It's a
I know.
rare body style.
You can't go just anywhere and find these pieces right here.
No, we had to fabricate a lot of stuff for this truck because most of it's not available, and it's really hard to just find stuff. So
Yeah.
we had to fabricate a lot of stuff, and because for a truck this rare, no one
Okay.
reproduces everything for it.
All right, so the color, what do you call that? It's not exactly bright red.
I don't know the color that the name of the color the owner picked, but I refer
Almost.
to it as like a fire engine red.
Yeah, I
and
guess
then just a plain cream white for the bumpers, and he didn't want chrome the bumpers.
Man.
The white on the bumpers and the headlight bezels, the grill, and the hubcaps, was the way it was when it came from 61. So he wanted us to body work the bumpers like we do the rest of the vehicle and paint it.
Man, I love the colors. That off-white looks great with that,
Yeah,
that red.
At first, I was wondering how it would look with chrome, but
Yeah.
when the white got onto it, I liked it a lot better than I thought, and
Yeah.
it impressed me, really.
Yeah, and then you match it, top it off with the hubcaps.
Yes.
The original style hubcaps on it.
wheels with the white hubcaps, and originally the bow tie was white with the rest of the hubcap, but we took the extra step and taped it off and painted it the red color. So it was just one of them little details that we try to do.
Okay, all right, let's walk around here and pop the door. I want to see the interior. Let's see how clean it is on the inside. You know it's got to be super clean because the exterior is brand new. Oh man, look at this.
Got some foot marks on the floor, but it's original style bench seat, just recovered.
Yeah.
This is the original gray color in the interior,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to go back with that, so we took a picture before we stripped the truck down. We have a little machine that will scan the color.
Yeah.
And we took a picture of the original color so we could put it back just the way it was after we stripped it down.
Yes, sir.
So the interior is just the way it was. The gauges we just cleaned them up a little bit, repainted the needles and the numbers, and dash has not
That
been
looks
modified. We just added on the little AC pockets on the bottom of it.
Yes, sir.
And the switches, but it's still got the original pull handbrake on the steering column, no foot brake or anything like that.
Man, I've always been a big fan. I'm in love with the styling on these trucks because of the double hump dash, the dog leg doors,
Yes.
even the door panels. They're so unique.
Yes.
You'll never see that on any other truck.
Speaking of dog leg doors, it took me a few times getting into it, getting
Yeah,
used
you'll-
to it
you'll
because
hit your knee on
my
that one.
kneecap has hit that more than once, and it really hurts.
Well, that's the problem. The older gentlemen, that they mainly got rid of some of these trucks because of that.
Yes.
However, man, if you look at the styling and all, now usually people cut the bed out of these things and slam them on the ground, put air right on them. And they're either way you set these trucks up, man, phenomenal.
Either way, they look good.
They
but this
do look
one here, we want to keep a little bit of a original ride height. We dropped the front end a little bit just to give it a rake.
Yeah.
We put in just a smooth bed floor, and we body colored the bed liner, and just so you can still put stuff back there without worrying about it getting scarred up.
Yep. Well, all right, Mike. It's a beautiful 61, buddy.
Thank you.
I mean, beautiful. Thank you for showing it here on Hot Rod Madness.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Jim Rockford. Remember the Rockford Files? Here's a Firebird replica from the 70s. Rolling. Keith, how are you, man?
Doing fine, thank you, sir. Glad to meet
All
you.
right. Larry? All right, Larry. Glad to know you, sir. As you can see, I caught up to some firemen, and they got some very unique fire truck. This is the rescue truck. Give us the spiel, man. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on here,
This
buddy.
is actually a 1953 Rio. It was belonged to the city of Birmingham Fire Department.
Wow.
It was like a matching grant back in 1953, right after the World War II and what we refer to as the Cold War startup. This is actually, if you'll notice on the sides, has civil defense emblems. So these trucks were put together, actually run as a rescue truck in case we had an atomic bomb attack.
Okay.
And so these were put together to service the community in case they dropped a bomb on us. We could dispatch these trucks out. They had rescue equipment on it, and they had quote unquote stretchers, and probably not a lot of protection as was being dropped, but that was the whole concept of these. what they called a light duty rescue back in 1953. So it's a 1953 Rio. A lot of them were put out in service with other communities, especially large towns or cities. And where it be New York City, Philadelphia, Dallas, Orlando, Atlanta, they all had trucks like this. And like I said, it was a matching grant under the Civil Defense Division. It's powered by what they call a Gold Comet engine. Larry can sort of explain to you the engine while I raise the hood on this thing.
Okay, yeah, pop the hood, and we'll get the specs from Larry here. How big's that motor, Larry?
Just a little 216 General Motors engine is all it is, and it's adequate at the low gearing that this thing has got. It's amazing. It's geared like a tractor. It's got 2-speed rear end in it and whatnot, and of course 4-speed in the main transmission. So it just about crawl anywhere.
Now it can pull anything and go anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's got Positrack in it too. So yeah.
Okay. Wow. Man, that's amazing, because I don't recall the last time I've seen the Rio laying around anywhere,
Well, you don't see many of them anymore, and there wasn't a lot of them built in the day.
Yeah.
Of course, that Rio was originally turned into Oldsmobile.
Okay.
So that ended the Rio.
All right. Man, look at the nose on that thing. Is that cool or what?
Yeah.
I love the styling of it, man. Just the bodies on these things are just phenomenal,
Yeah.
That is cool.
That was the style in the day for the tractors and the trucks, yeah.
Yes, sir. That's a real truck, huh?
Yeah.
And that little Chevy motor, is that what they would put in all of them, or did you guys put that in?
No, that's the original motor in this,
Okay.
so that's what they used.
All right, Chevy powered Rio. How about that? And behind it and behind that, there's some more classic fire trucks here. Let's step back here and take a look at them, man. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, Dollar Bill, you want to get a shot of this right quick? Here's a little spec board on this vehicle. Man, what a truck. Birmingham Fire and Rescue 310.
These were designed where they could take the boards off with all the equipment on them.
Do what?
Out in the field.
Do what
So
now?
if
Let me
you
catch.
needed
Let me catch it.
equipment Out in the field, you took the board.
Oh wow, okay.
Out in the field with you.
Yes, sir. The whole board comes off with all the equipment and the necessary rescue equipment, I guess.
Yep. Everything you needed while you're out in the field.
Yeah.
Is right there with you.
All right, Keith. It's not difficult reattaching that, is it?
It just fits right back on there.
Okay, got you. And there's some more storage space there. All right. Interesting, man. Well, this is the first for the Milkman. I've never inspected a fire truck before. I've seen plenty of school buses, but not fire trucks.
One thing about fire trucks, they usually serve a city, and after they've seen their life expectancy, they have to go somewhere else. And our real goal and aspiration is to try and keep these things from going to the scrapyard.
Okay.
This is a 1970 model. As you can see, it looks like it probably should be in service somewhere. It could be, especially probably with a volunteer department. But you got to remember, after 20 years, they lose their longevity as far as fire service. That means they don't qualify for ISO points generally after that. So a lot of these trucks, even though they're in excellent shape, they either go in reserve or they go to another department, or they end up in a graveyard out at a stripping yard where they're selling it for weight and taking the equipment off of it and the engine. So this one here is a 1970 Mack. As you can see, it's in excellent shape. I mean, it looks like it just came out of the station, and basically that's about what it did. When one of the gentlemen, Gene Northern, picked it up, it was still in service. Yeah. He bought it from a department and brought it down and added it to our building, put it in the collection. Of course, he maintains it, keeps it up, but it's a diesel powered. What motor's in this one, Larry? Do you remember?
Larry don't remember what size engine it is, but I bet it's a
massive diesel.
Yes,
referred to as a.
Mack has some very, very good power plants and all.
This power plant in this one is still running its original. You can see some massive.
Hang on, let's get the camera around here so we can look at this. All right, Dollar Bill.
Turbocharged diesel.
It's a turbocharged diesel. I don't know if you can get the camera up in there, but check that out. That's a big old turbo on that thing too, man. Wow. You can imagine the boost that baby puts out to haul all the equipment, plus a water tank in this thing. There's no telling what this thing weighs when it's loaded.
This one's probably weighing out about 18 to 20,000 pounds loaded, maybe a little bit more. Wow. Probably empty weight's probably about 14. Okay. And since we don't run any water on them because of the change in the temperatures when it gets cold. Yeah. If you're not pumping water in, the worst thing to do is let them sit in there because everything starts to rust. Right. This is one of the newer units we have in our collection at the present time.
1970 is one of the newer units.
We have a few 80s, but most everything we have is generally going to be from about 1900 up to in the 60s is where we are. And,
all right, Keith's telling me they got a museum with a bunch of them in there. One more time, the location of the museum.
4500, what they refer to as the Continental Gin building down here. We're in
Okay.
building F, which is the one with all the glass windows in there. We have 30 plus trucks located in there.
All right.
So it's a lot of equipment to come in and visit. So
Yes, sir.
anybody that comes by and the doors are open, please step by and visit with us and see what we got in there, because we have stuff from the early 1900s as well as
Yeah.
hand-drawn equipment and things that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Yes, sir. Hey, young man, you want a fire hat?
you a fire
Let's get
hat.
you a fire hat over here, buddy. That's what we've been doing, riding around on this thing, handing out fire hats to all the kids, man. They just love these fire trucks. You could imagine, you know, as a kid looking at stuff like this. See there? That's a fine example. There you go, young man. Now, this is the one I took a ride in earlier. Now, this is a rare piece. Very rare. This thing has the name Buffalo on it.
This is a 1929 Buffalo on a Selden chassis. Back about 2005, I got a call from a junkyard up in Haydenville, Alabama, that this thing was getting ready to be crushed, and they were going to shred it. And the gentleman who had it there said, I need to come look at it, because he said he thought it was a very rare truck, and he said, I think it's a Buffalo. A lot of the equipment you see on it now was not on there. Well, I immediately drove up there, and it was in line getting ready to be shredded, and it was in pretty bad shape. I mean, it was gone. It was rusted. It was in deplorable shape.
Man.
So I bought the thing based on weight, brought it back to Birmingham, and spent the next 5 years restoring it
5 years.
from one end to the other. It's now repowered with a straight six Chevrolet with automatic transmission. I still have the Continental 6 that goes in it, but just due to the power plant needing to be more conducive to running parades with it, we decided to change it out. This is on a Selden chassis, which is very rare.
Okay.
Most of these trucks are built on Laramies. This one happens to be built on a Selden chassis, which is very, very rare.
Here we go. What is this? 235, 250?
Straight six.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
With an automatic transmission in it, which makes it a whole lot easier to run in the parades. You try and run those old
Oh, yeah.
Continental 6 with a downdraft carburetor and no
Yeah.
fuel pumps on them, you're going to run out of fuel and get on the hill
I
most
could
of the time.
imagine. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this was a ground-up restoration. Everything you see on it was either sandblasted, sanded, and a lot of new panels had to be made because it was too far gone. But, with it being a Selden chassis and being a Buffalo on top of that, it was well worth saving.
Chevy 6. That's cool. All right, back here we got a Mack truck. Let's see what year this one is. All right. Yep. How old is it, Keith?
This is a 1950 model, and the unique thing about this truck, this was a ground-off restoration done by Larry.
Okay.
The gentleman back here, I'm talking about the motor and everything he had to go through. This belongs to one of the gentlemen in our club by the name of Jerry Norton. His dad was with Birmingham Fire Department. He served on this rig.
Yeah.
And so when the truck became available, Jerry was able to get it. His brother owns that truck there, the first one we saw, which was Gene.
Okay.
But this truck here is a ground-up restoration done by Larry. And how many years did it take you to do this one, Larry?
2 years, he says.
But,
Wow. Larry, that's pretty quick, really. If you want to restore an old fire truck, 2 years, not bad. You spent 5 on that other one, right?
He did the paint and everything on this one.
okay. Wow.
I'll tell you, the unique thing about this one is you need to ask him about the motor on this one, the engine. You really need to look at this engine on the other
Okay.
side.
All right. Let's go look at the motor on that side. Ring that bell, Dollar Bill. Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. So this is the original Mack engine?
This is the original motor.
Yeah.
And 707, I believe, isn't it, Larry?
Oh, boy. Okay.
He can give you a lot of information on the motor. He's very
Okay, Larry.
with that motor.
Does that thing come with the chrome valve covers like that from original stuff?
It sure did.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. That big
We-
chrome
we-
grill on that thing.
Yeah, we took everything apart and tried to clean it all up and put it back the colors and whatnot it originally was. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of changes there to it.
Oh, yeah. Man, that is so cool. I'd like to have one of them red lights on the top of the wagon, man, that we travel around in. You got a spare one laying around, Larry?
We probably do have a few spares.
Sure, give me a light.
Thanks for the internet. We can sort of find parts
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit easier. But this actually was an in-service Birmingham truck.
Mhm.
Ran his truck 5, I believe this one was, with Birmingham for many, many, many years. And it ran on up until the 60s and early 70s.
Oh, wow. That
So you can
late.
see they're going to get a lot of service out of them because,
Yes, sir.
20 years would have been 65 that have kept it in service. And then it
Yeah.
went to reserve status.
And that does make sense because the firemen themselves, they polish the truck, they keep it clean, they keep it up, And do they do their own oil changes and service of that
No,
nature?
Most cities have a service department. They
Yeah.
have their own city shop. Of
Okay.
course, you got to remember back in the early times, up until the mid 70s, these trucks didn't run EMS. They didn't run emergency medical service. So they ran fires. So that means they didn't run like they do now. They may not go out all day long. It may be a week and they don't go out. In rural departments, it could be months and they wouldn't run a truck. So you'll find a lot of low mileage trucks.
Yeah.
You know, that little Selden there on the Buffalo, it only has 3,000 miles on it.
3,000
But
miles.
they never went anywhere. They weren't running EMS, and you know, they had a small area they ran.
Yeah.
This truck here would have had a few more miles because it was a Birmingham truck, but
All
you know,
right.
it's immaculate and put back together, as you can see on the inside.
Oh boy. Yeah, and there is no top on this thing, man. You're exposed to the elements when you're screaming down the road with that siren
If it's
running,
raining,
right?
you're getting wet. If it's cold, you're getting cold.
Yeah. I guess that's where the fire suit comes in handy.
You
Keep the
got
rain off of you as well as the heat and fire.
Absolutely.
Okay. Man, I appreciate the history today. Golly, that is so cool.
We appreciate
Keith,
you. Thank you very much.
Sir.
Y'all
All
have
right.
a great day.
Larry, you have a wonderful time, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and you're watching Hot Rod Madness. Woo!
Tommy, how are you, man?
Doing good, Tim.
Doing good at the car show today.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate you bringing the old school cool. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Old school cool.
Old school cool.
Man, that's a 57 Chevrolet school bus.
That's right.
How about that? You know, I
Right.
don't remember the last time I saw one.
I had never seen one before.
That is quite
Never
unique,
have
sir.
seen one before.
Yeah. The way you have this thing dressed up, Tommy, is that correct for the specs back in 57?
Yes.
The whole front end's black.
It was originally black,
Okay.
but I put a chrome grill and a chrome bumper on it.
all right.
That kind of dressed it up a little bit, and chrome bezels on the
Yes,
headlights,
sir.
but
That looks
just make
great.
just make it look a little better. But
Yeah.
it was originally black and yellow to start with.
And it might have had black grill and bumper on it, maybe?
No, it was white.
White?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And it did not come with a Viper engine in it, did it?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Probably a little old 235 6.
Somebody hacked up a Viper and put the engine in this thing. Did you do that?
I did that all by myself.
You didn't crash a Viper a long time ago,
No,
did you?
no,
All right.
I found one somebody else had crashed
Gotcha.
and
All right.
bought all the goodies out of it.
Yep. How about the transmission? Is that Viper stuff?
Motor, transmission, all the gauges out of the dash,
Yep.
the wiring harness, the whole 9 yards.
Man, that's one fast school bus, ain't it?
Yeah, bad and fast.
I bet it sounds pretty good too. We might get you to fire it up later, but I want to look a little closer at this thing, man. Tommy did a really good job at putting this thing together. That Viper motor stuffed right in there, buddy. Look at that. Wow. There's not much room on either side.
Snug.
Yes, it is.
Kind of snug.
Now, did you have to cut your firewall out to shove it way back in there?
Yes, I had to move the firewall back about,
Mm-hmm.
18 inches or so.
Yep. That's what it looked like. Man, wired it and painted it yourself, right?
Painted it, yeah.
Tommy does all the work, man.
Done it all. I had it painted in the yard too.
In the yard.
Yeah,
In the dirt.
in the dirt.
Looks pretty good too. School bus yellow, huh?
School bus yellow.
All right, cool. Hey, do your I want to call them 8-ways, but they're flashing red lights. Do they still work?
They do work, but they're
Alright.
not hooked up yet.
Okay, got you.
That's one of the things I hadn't got to yet. I hadn't got the stop sign working yet, and I
Yep.
hadn't got the red lights working yet. But
Okay. Well, the old turn signal's still on the fender.
yeah.
You kept that going. Let's walk around here, man.
All right.
Take a look at this thing. That's quite unique. Man, I'm a big fan of the old Chevy pickups, and when I saw that front end on this thing, I'm like, man, that is no ordinary school bus. All right. The door is slowly electrically opening.
Yeah, it better not catch on fire in there, cause
Yeah.
you'll tear something up trying to get out.
Yeah, you can't pick up kids in that. That door's way too slow.
That's right.
They'll be impatient with that. Look at that. Takes all day to open the door. Check that out.
It does.
Wow.
Kind of slow.
However, it is still quite unique. So there you go. Custom, man. Custom.
Custom.
3,800 Chevrolet badges.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
3/4 ton Chevrolet truck chassis, what
Okay.
it was.
And they used to haul kids in these things.
They did.
Yeah, let's check out the inside of it. Take a look around in there. Yeah, okay. All right. Not too bad, Tommy. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a few custom touches. The Bud Light shifter handle.
Yeah. I bought that several years ago, and I said this would be the perfect spot to use it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, put the beer tap in there for a shifter. Why not? Okay. We got some pretty cool looking bucket seats going on in here. You can haul 2 people and lay.
Well, I'm gonna have 3 bucket seats,
it'll.
and that's gonna be a seat back there in the back too, on either side.
Okay.
Got a reverse camera on it.
Hey man, did you rip a RV AC unit and put in this thing?
No, that come out of an ambulance.
An ambulance. Okay.
I found an ambulance in the scrap yard there close to home, and I robbed the air conditioner out of it. Yeah.
All right. It works good.
It works good.
Oh man, that's what counts, buddy.
That's
That
exactly
AC
what
works good, and it cools the whole bus while you're cruising.
Yes.
All
So
right.
I got the condenser out from under one of these passenger buses, you know, the old folks ride in.
Yeah. Okay.
Got the condenser out from under it and put it in there where I wouldn't have to block the radiator in front, because there wasn't any more room left out there anyway.
Yep. I suppose if it runs as good as it looks, man, you can travel anywhere in this thing.
I can.
That is sweet.
I've had 2 or 3 little small problems with it, but I've worked them all out. I think I got it pretty well going now.
Heck, after you build one this far, man, sure you can work all the problems out on it. You know.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And never to be sold, right?
Well, money will buy anything I got.
Really? No kidding. So.
Somebody may have them to go crazy. It's
yeah?
not for sale.
Okay, guys.
It's not for sale, but money can take it away from you.
Right. Yeah, you probably need a pocket full too, man, to get
Take a
this.
pretty good sized pocket.
Right. Okay, Tommy. Man, I appreciate you showing your ride here on Hot Rod Madness today, buddy.
Thank you,
That
Tim.
is one cool school bus.
You want to hear it run?
Yeah, let's hear it run, man. Fire it up. Before we go, we'll listen to this Viper motor run. And that sounds like plenty of power for the old school bus. All right, Tommy. It does sound good. It sounds like a Viper.
Sound like a Viper.
Sounds like a Viper. All right. That's cool. Quite unique, buddy. We appreciate you showing it, man.
Yeah,